Good boy. I heard my mother tell our next-door neighbor, Lila, this 30-something-year-old single woman who's had polio and walked with a limp and a cane. I heard my mother refer to her as an old maid. Would you mind staying with Sammy while we go out? And Lila said, of course I wouldn't mind. And so my parents left soon afterwards, and Lila stayed with me for about 5 minutes, and then Lila said, I'll be next door, and if you need me, just come and call me. And she tapped. I could hear her cane hitting the floor as she went to her apartment, and she left me alone. And there I was, 7-year-old, all by myself. I was ecstatic. I went to one of the cabinets in my bedroom and took out my model airplane set. Opened it up, watched all the plastic pieces. They were all attached to a little, like a log, pulled off the plastic pieces, glued them on to another piece of the airplane. And after I was finished a little while, I was left with a log, this plastic log, and I looked at it and I thought to myself, it would be fun to burn this log. I took the stove, turned on the stove, lit the log, and watched it flames. It was yellow, blue, and black. I was ecstatic again. But while this was burning, the plastic was dripping onto the stove, and it clogged some of the burners. And then eventually it clogged all the burners, and the stove wouldn't work. And I panicked in my 7-year-old fright. I said, oh my God, I broke my mother's stove. She's going to kill me. This is where she spends all of her time cooking. Cooking all kinds of horrible stuff, filter fish, flying in stuff I hated. And I went next door to Lila, and I knocked on the door, Lila, please come out. And Lila came out, and she said, what do you want? I said, I broke my mother's stove. You've got to help me. I broke my mother's stove. She came into the apartment, cane again, very distinctive, and she fixed the stove, got it all nice and clean, and it worked again. I said, Lila, thank you so much. Please don't tell my parents. And she says, oh, I'm not going to tell you guys. Please don't tell my parents. I won't tell. Oh, Lila. Thank you so much. I put my arms around her and I said, you're such a good friend. And she helped me. And she says, okay, I'm going to go back to my apartment now. She went back to her apartment. I went back to my bedroom, the only bedroom in the apartment. I went to sleep, or I feigned sleep. And maybe an hour or 2 hours later, I heard my parents open the door, come in, and I hear, this time fast, walking back to the front, Sammy played with fire! Sammy played with fire! Oh my God, she's telling them, I couldn't believe it. I was stunned that she was telling my parents that I was playing with fire. I'm in my bed, and my father comes in and he wakes me up and says, why do you play with fire? Why do you play with fire? Never play with fire. He smacks me and hits me. And it was the first time I've ever been hit. 7 or 7.5 years old. And it was painful. It hurt. But her betrayal hurt more. It was horrendous for me that she would betray me. And the enthusiasm of her betrayal still haunts me.